This is the Kindred Family Soul 10 Minutes with Kindred podcast. And today we are going to start it out with talking about what is very prevalent and going on in society right at this very moment. And of course, it is the coronavirus, COVID-19. COVID-19 is on everybody's hearts, everybody's heads, everybody's minds.
I'm personally tired of it. I'm tired of talking about it.
I know you are.
I'm tired of the pluses, the minuses, the details, the good info, the bad info. I feel like I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, I know you feel like you're overwhelmed. It kind of seemed like it blindsided us all, came out of nowhere, even though it's something that we've been dealing with for a couple of years. People are familiar with SARS and Ebola and all of these other things that led us to predate this, that led us to COVID-19. And so, of course, and then you have all the conspiracy theories and all of the other people who don't necessarily think this is as serious.
Yeah, that's where I feel like it is. It's like you have two different types of people.
Yeah.
You got your conspiracy theorists, and then you got your true believers, I guess.
Yeah.
And
which one are you?
I'm probably like a mixture of both because
you got to be one or the other. So if you're one or the other, you can't be in between. You can't be on the fence.
Oh, Negro, it's possible to be both.
Because we good cop and bad cop here on this.
Okay, well, I guess I would take the side of true believer.
Okay, I know you are. And you know I'm going to be the bad
But
cop.
I'm not a true believer. That's the thing. But I'll take that side of true believer. The true believer aspect is I actually do think that people are getting sick. Like, I don't think that it's a lie. So I definitely think people are getting sick. And I do think it's something to be concerned about.
Well, I just having a hard time until, like they have to do these, when people die, they do what you call an autopsy. And no one has died and gotten an autopsy yet, as far as I know.
Oh, well, see, that's part of the conspiracy theorist.
Well, I don't know that. Listen, I will be the first to admit that I don't have that information. Just like I don't have a lot of the information about this disease just yet.
Well, again, that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's close to impossible right now, to a degree, to get all the information because everything's so mixed up. It's new. It's mixed up in between lies.
But that's how you know that a lot of untruth can come up when something is new and people don't really have any backstory and they don't have any information to compare it to.
What untruth are you talking about? Are you talking about the untruth of that it's
not
as serious or it's more serious? Because see, that's also the truth.
That's a good point.
That's the truth that some of these conspiracy theorists don't want to go with. Is that the mess could be worse than they're telling us.
True, but I feel like you would still get an opportunity to kind of see a little bit of more. Here's my thing. Like, all right.
Well, I'll put it this way. In 1 week, I've gone from knowing absolutely nobody who I know who is personally affected to knowing at least 4 people in 1 week.
No, you don't know anybody. You just know people from your timeline. No, and those people you don't actually really know. You still don't have any actual people who are close to you.
3 of them are people I actually know.
Like who?
Oh, I don't want to put people's personal health business out there.
I didn't realize that 3 people that you actually have connection with have this virus.
Right.
Are they in a state of destitute or are they like really doing really bad?
One person was doing really, really bad.
Okay.
And then didn't post about having had the illness until she started to get over the hump.
Okay. Well, that's respectable, but it's also, here's the thing. You still think about that it's flu season and that people do get sick around this time. And so the thought that it's just like, okay, Tom Hanks and Idris Elba, they came out and they said that they had the virus. A few days later, I went to check Tom Hanks and Idris Elba to try to see how they were doing. And it was saying that Tom Hanks, he had the blahs and he was doing a little bit better, him and his wife, blase blah. And Idris Elba, I've seen him post again saying that black people can get it, and
you do
he's
realize
concerned,
that there are
but
some
I don't
people
see
who are
him getting
testing
really sick.
Well,
But wait, just let me finish.
Okay.
But then I still see people talking about like that people are coming in and they're dying in a few days, and it's just like, okay, so are the celebrities they're just immune to? And not that you want anything to happen to any celebrity to prove it to you. And please don't take that the wrong way. But again, if you're going to use those people or those people are coming out as the example to show you that, hey, this can happen. Because that's what they're almost like models to let you know that this is real and this can really happen. And so you're like, oh, okay, if this could happen to Idris Elba, this could happen to anybody.
Well, again, as they've explained, that there is a bit of a spectrum on this thing, that there are some people, the majority of the people who will get it will have very mild symptoms. The majority of them. then there's a large section of people who will get it and have very, very terrible symptoms that they will recover from or can recover from, but they will have really bad symptoms. And then there is a section of people who are at high risk, who will go from developing it to immediately critical. So there's a section of people that are going to get it and have really bad symptoms, and that's the group I'm focused on.
And those are the people who are older, correct?
No, those are people who are at risk for death immediately, probably, or more so older people whose immune systems are really low and X, Y, and Z have a lot of underlying issues. So there's a section of people who are going to have a really tough time, who are going to have very intense and could be critical level experiences that could be critical. That's the group that I'm thinking about, because that's the group that, to me, I feel like that's the mystery group, because that in that group of people, you have people who have autoimmune diseases, respiratory diseases, diabetes, people who are overweight, people who have all kinds of existing situations that for a person in quote unquote normal health in that age range could really literally have it just like the flu. But if you add in those other elements, it makes it more critical for them. And so that's the part that has me concerned, where it's that group of people that's too split up between those who believe that it's a real thing and those who don't. Because it's like, okay, you have a situation where someone who, like, for example, now we know America is the most overweight country in the whole world, right? Mm-hmm. So that shows you that a large portion of our population out the gate is going to be susceptible, right?
Right.
Then you also know that Black people are more susceptible for things like heart disease, diabetes, asthma, all these things. So that immediately makes Black people of every age more susceptible. So all of these things.
So why do you think that it is that we thought that we can't get it?
Because that was some bull crap that was being spread around in the beginning when Africa's numbers were super low. Mm. But now Africa's numbers are starting to spike too. So there you have it.
Well, I also noticed that you had posted something about your mom, who definitely, before she passed, unfortunately, yes, she did have a lot of immune issues and things of that nature, and respiratory issues, and how you were saying how you were glad that she wasn't around. Of course, not glad that she wasn't around, but glad that she wasn't around.
That she wasn't having to go through
deal
this.
With that.
Yeah, this would be really scary for a person like my mother, who's in her 60s. So it automatically she's in that top tier. Mm-hmm. Then she has not just any kind of asthma, but she has like chronic asthma. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that she has major respiratory issues. My mother also had diabetes. Also she also had what's the other word I'm looking for? Quite a few other issues going on. So her immune system was quite weak. Also too, my mother, the year before my mother passed, she had pneumonia several times. Yeah. So my mother has actually had pneumonia several times. So all of those different things have made me feel like, well, yes, I'm relieved that this was not a situation that she had to live through. Right. That that she's resting well in that space. But it also makes me think about other people like my mother, whether they be in her age range or not. Because like I said, there are people our age who are dealing with those exact same ailments.
Right. Well, look, this has been 10 Minutes with Kindred. This is our first podcast here on the coronavirus, the ups, the downs, the trials and tribulations of what's happening right now. And we'll come back soon.
We might talk about some other stuff too.
Yeah,
give y'all.
I mean, no, this is just the first podcast. I mean, we're gonna we'll get into lots and different issues. I thought that this one was very prevalent. Yes, it's been more than 10 minutes probably. So we're gonna probably have to edit a little bit. But I just wanted to start there instead of trying to do too long and get too elongated and too long-winded. But thanks for listening, and hopefully we'll be talking with you soon.
Peace out.